Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Mary. Today I am playing with some very affordable stamp sets that I got at Joann Fabrics and my Oxide inks. Nothing here is going to be too earth-shattering, not really any new techniques you probably haven't seen, but I really just wanted to craft with you all. So I pulled out some of these Miss Sparkle stamp sets I got at Joann Fabrics. I believe they were $1.99 each or $2.99. Either way, super cheap. So I got them and I really haven't used them, but I thought these sentiments are great. And so let me just make some simple cards with some fun techniques. So the first thing I did with all 5 of these cards is I stamped with Versamark ink and heat embossed in white because I was going to do a emboss resist with my Oxide inks. So I go through all of these. I'm using Canson XL watercolor paper and I really like this watercolor paper. It's sturdy, it holds up, so that's a favorite of mine. And I can get that at AC Moore or any other craft store, so I don't have to get that online. So what I like about that is when I can buy stuff in store, I usually have a coupon for it. I know both for Joann Fabrics and AC Moore, I get frequent coupons. Michael's is a little bit further from me, but still same deal. So this one was, I used the stamp set, and then I doubled up that stamp set to get that banner. So what I'm doing through here is I've put Wow white embossing powder over all of my cardstock, my watercolor paper, and now I'm just heat setting it with my Wagner heat tool. And so once I get that done, I pull out all of this amazingness. I wanted to figure out which color scheme themes I was going to use by having a palette in front of me. So that's why you see all of those oxides out. I started matching them up, figuring which ones I wanted for which sentiment. The sentiments here I have are happy birthday, thanks, sympathy, and congrats. Starting with the birthday one, this is the first technique with oxides, putting one color down at a time. So I use my craft sheet there, my Ranger craft mat, on a clipboard. I find it easier because it's mobile for me. And I'm putting down the colors one at a time, heat setting in between each color. And so that's the first technique that I'm going to do there. I wanted a little bit more pink, so I added a little more pink. And when it dried back, I really like the softness of how that looks. So we're going to have some more fun with these backgrounds in a little bit. But I'm just going to continue to work on this next one. I'm going to put all 3 colors down, spray them with the water, and then pick them up all at the same time. This one is a lot darker, a lot more vibrant. I am not 100% sold on the color mixes on this one. In the end, I like it because it's more of a masculine card. But I guess maybe because I'm drawn to that really soft or bright colors of pink and, you know, the salty ocean and et cetera, et cetera. But that one was okay. This one is the next technique, and this is taking your blending tool straight to the cardstock, the watercolor paper. Now, oxides blend beautifully on anything, but they blend really well on watercolor paper, and they blend well on Bristol Smooth. And so here I'm just doing that distress technique, picking up the water droplets from it, and put that aside. Now, this 4th technique here with the oxides, I'm going to place the color randomly all over my watercolor piece, and I'm just in the color palette that I want, and this is the sympathy card. And I'm then going to spritz it all over the cardstock. And what that is going to do is it's going to mix those colors on its own. I don't have to do much work with it. But it's more controlled. It's more controlled than laying color down on my craft mat and picking it up, but less controlled than using a sponge to blend stuff in. It's kind of like that happy medium area there. So I let that dry back, and now here I'm pulling out some dies I have in my stash, and we're going to do some different techniques with each of these. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to start with is we're going to pull out that thank you card, I believe. Oh, before we get there, I needed to make some other backgrounds for behind some of these cards. Specifically, these first 2 are going to be, the first one was rather the sympathy. And then this one, I'm just making a blue cardstock because I love this blue, and that's going to go behind the thank you one. So I did do that before we start assembling everything. So for the first card, I'm taking what I popped out there, which was that middle piece of the thanks, and I put that down with some liquid adhesive and something heavy on top, and then I'm going to pop up the panel in front. And I love this technique because it's just breaking up that bit, and you can kind of get that dimension with it, okay? So I'm going to do a final touch to all these cards at the very end, but for now we're just going to assemble. This one here, I'm going to place the panel down first and then pop up the congrats, which I cut out. I'm doing that with some fun foam. So fun foam that kind of complemented the colors on my card. And I'm going to use some multimedia matte here because that's really super strong. And I'm going to add my congrats to the top. Now that's 2 layers of fun foam, by the way. Moving into the birthday card. I know I'm moving pretty fast through these, but through this one, it was at this point that I realized I wanted to do a shaker card. Seems like it might be too late, but I had just enough space to fit an acetate piece in there and then add the rest of my my foam tape. So that was really simple to do. And if you're intimidated by shaker cards, please do not be. They are really, really easy to do. So give it a try. So on the front, where I had already put down the happy birthday on the inside, I added my sequins, and then here I'm just going to add that top panel. 1 layer of foam tape, so it's very small, very shallow rather. And that will do it for the shaker card. Okay, so for my 2 sympathy cards, I'm going to put fun foam on the back of both and just prop them up on these 2 colored panels in the back. This one I used Black Soot Distress. The other one I used Ice Spruce Distress. And so you could see me just popping these 2 panels up. Now on here you'll see the splatters. I just used Black Soot splatter with a little bit of water and with a paintbrush. Just threw them on there. So the final touch for this card is going to be sequins for the 3 of those. And for the thanks that you see to the right, I'm going to use black enamel dots. I'm going to show you some close-ups of all the cards. Thank you so much for joining me. I had so much fun doing these cards. Again, nothing earth-shattering, but just a fun, crafty day with you all. I hope you have a wonderful day. Don't forget to hit subscribe to see more from me. Bye-bye.